Yeah, I'm back again. Like it or not, here I am. So what is today now? August 11th? Yeah. So the 11th of August actually has a bit of a significance to me. And that being, it marks the anniversary of the day that I brought Trish home. What do you call it? The Adoptaversary or Gotcha Day, I think is the other name used for it. But anyway, it's been actually 5 years today since I brought Trish home and adopted her as the other half of my family. So yeah, that was back in 2019. So 5 years ago today. Sorry, a little bubble in my throat. So yeah, summer of 2019, I had, I just lost my dad back in May. So otherwise, I probably would have gotten around to adopting a cat sooner. But the grieving process and dealing with, with his impending death and everything just kind of threw all those plans right out the window. Yeah, so I put things on hold. Why can I say that word? On hold for a while, until in the we're talking about you. Yeah, I'm talking about you. So in the summer of 2019, late July, I finally decide that I wanted to get a cat. And the local humane association had, has her listings online. And I saw one that I really thought would work well with me. So I went down there to ask to meet her, and they told me that no, she was being hosted by a foster family off-site. And they described her her demeanor to be more, and everybody said no, she wasn't going to be a good fit anyway. She was more of an indoor-outdoor mix, whereas what I need is more of a purely indoor cat. So they told me, they encouraged me to go ahead and take a look at the kitty condos, which was a room where the cats actually were confined to their own individual kennels. So I go down there and I start looking around at the cats in the room, and I go one after another, and none of them really speak to me. From either from looking at their bios or just the way that they responded to me. And I was about 2/3 of the way done, looking through the room, and I got my attention focused on this pair of, I think they're from the same litter. I start reading their sheet, and then out of the corner of my eye, I just see this white splotch pressed up against the glass out of the corner of my eye. And lo and behold, that was the first time I saw Trish. She had pressed herself up against the glass of her condo, of her kitty kennel, to get my attention. So I asked if I could meet her, and they let her out, and she took to me right away, and I just knew that this is the one. She, her claws are really sharp though. Ow. Yeah, so she took to me right away. Ow. I wish that I had clipped your claws earlier this weekend, because I know you don't mean to hurt me, but your claws are still very sharp. Yes, your claws are still very sharp, you know that. And I realized that, yeah, she was the one that I figured would mesh with me best. So I filled the paperwork that day, go home. I think it was 2 days later, they called me back to say that they'd approved the application, and they wanted me to arrange for a day to come down there and pick her up. So we decided on August 11th, because I had the day off from work and I would have a few days to help her get situated and settled at home before I had to work again. And she has been living rent-free in this house ever since. Now, it wasn't always, rainbows and sunshine. We definitely butted heads quite a bit when she was getting accustomed to life here. But aside from a few hiccups here and there in the beginning, she has been a very loving, very well-behaved kitty overall. I say that, but the last time I complimented her on her good behavior, I actually had taken her over to Mom's for Christmas the first year I had her. And no sooner had I finished talking about how good she had been acting at home, and she wanders over to the Christmas tree and starts chewing on the tree lights. I'm like, okay, I will not compliment you on your behavior again. Unfortunately, she does stress easily, so travel is a major challenge with her. So she basically only leaves the house to go someplace if we have to go to the vet, because she just it is so hard to get into those carriers unless she's in there. She's meowing, she's crying, she's definitely distressed the whole way. And a couple, what was it, maybe 2-3 years ago now, we went to the vet, for her annual checkup and rabies vaccine. And I got her home and I realized that she had been so nervous and so stressed out on the return trip that she had actually pissed herself inside the carrier and got the t-shirt all wet inside that I used as a comfort for her. So, and that kind of sealed the deal on me taking her places all willy-nilly, because clearly she has a really hard time handling travel. So I try to do it as little as possible for her sake. But, it's been 5 years today, so happy Gotcha Day, happy Gotchaversary, happy Adoptaversary, yeah. But, yeah, so yesterday I had a little visit from an old friend. Mel came into town for lunch and some shopping. And we have a local sandwich shop that she just has to get a sandwich from her every time she comes into town. So we kind of make a point of having a semi-regular lunch date there. Get a half, almost like a half-foot turkey sandwich there. No, not a horrible price for the sandwich either. It's, it's reasonably priced, really good quality, tastes awesome. Probably loaded with calories, but we'll talk about that another time. And yeah, we go there, shoot the shit for a little while, and depending on how much time we have and what her agenda is, we just meander off elsewhere. Or if there's a need to go to the grocery store and get some liquor because, well, she loves her cheap booze. I mean, cheap as relatively speaking. Apparently, the place that she likes to go to here has much cheaper booze than they have back home. So she'll load up on a few things. It's just part of the routine. So that was my afternoon. We hit the grocery store. We hit, I have to get mixed up which one it is. Fleet Farm, Farm and Fleet. We've gone both. I forget which one is which at which location, but anyway, we went to the one closest to me and picked up some cat food and some cat litter. She's fostering kittens again, and this one needed a resupply of her canned food, so it worked out for me too. She's picky. She is a picky eater. Basically, she is a snob for seafood, and anything beef or poultry she won't touch unless she absolutely has to. She basically has to be starving to even look at chicken. Forget turkey. And if it's shreds or chunks, she's not particularly fond of those. But if it's pate, then usually it's all gone by the morning. The next morning when I clean out the dish and replenish it. So and it must be seafood. Otherwise, no, she won't finish it off. She'll nibble at it for a little bit, but that'll be it. So I gotta be very mindful of what I buy for her. Otherwise, I got a lot of food that just goes to waste. Oh God, I am. Yeah, I think I'm done talking about you for the moment. Yeah. So. Yeah, I reached out over the past few days to my social worker regarding some mental health concerns I've had recently. Anyways, been keeping up with my recent developments. Knows that I had something of a mental break over a few weeks ago. Still wary about things from that, and between that and my mounting frustration over my memory issues, it's not that I don't remember things, in the present. It's more that I'm trying to retrieve memories from when I was young, and it's like, okay, there are way too many blocks of time where I just remember nothing. Has me concerned that something happened that I am not privy to, and I'm trying to figure out ways to either remember it or to just cope with it. And between that and my suicidal break 2 weeks ago, I realized that I do need to to get my shit together and see a therapist. Things kind of came to a head for me back on what day was it? Was it Monday or was it Tuesday? It was Monday, I think. Yeah. Or was it Tuesday? Anyway, I think it was Tuesday. I'm losing track of days again. But yeah, so that evening or that afternoon, I had just gotten up. I was getting my food ready for breakfast and everything. Just about to take my burger off the George Foreman grill. That thing's really cool, by the way. I really like it. But all of a sudden, the power goes out, and then it flickers back on for a second, and it comes off again, and back on, back off, and it finally dies completely. Well, what happened there was about a block away from here, someone veered off the road and took out the power pole. And this is like, middle of the afternoon, broad daylight, dry roads, sunny. Like, how the hell do you manage that? But yeah, the driver managed to just break the post in half, and the top half was, you're done? The top half was laying on top of her, I'm not sure if it was minivan or SUV. I didn't get a very good look at it, but yeah, she broke the damn thing in half. So power was out. Well after I left for work, I actually had to disengage the garage door opener, which I've never had to do before. So figure out, how to disconnect it was easy enough. I just wasn't sure what the mechanism was to reconnect it the next morning. But I got it figured out, I think. It's working now anyway. But anyway, during all the hubbub with the power going out, I forgot if I had unplugged the Foreman grill or not. And it's one of those that it will stay running as long as it's plugged in. So power came back on around I want to say it was about 7:45, and about an hour later, I just had the realization that shit, I might have left it plugged in. So I text my neighbor, who, thank God, she is a saint. She really is. She's done so much for me over the past 5 years, 6 years, and I asked her if she could pop in here and check to make sure that's unplugged. Well, thing is, this place is a fucking disaster. I won't sugarcoat it. My housekeeping has suffered so much over the years, and basically I'll do a little bit of housekeeping and I'm just exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically after just a little bit of housekeeping. Like, I can do a sink load or two of dishes and I am done for the day. I don't have anything left in the tank. But you do that on one day off. Well, okay, I got between 2 and 3 days in a week where I actually can do stuff. But the problem is on the other days I'm working, so I neglect the housework on those days. And by the time I have the next days off, all those dishes, for example, I've already piled up again. Meanwhile, the living room's gotten dirtier, the bathroom's gotten dirtier, the floors are neglected, the recycling's piled up, the garbage is piled up, and it's so, it sounds so stupid to say it out loud, but I don't have the energy to keep up with all of it. And I had to apologize to my neighbor about that before she walked into it, and she laid out for me that it might be worthwhile checking in and getting a professional cleaning service to come in, like maybe once a month or so, or whatever, and keep things at least kind of straightened up around here. And that led me to have just one of those, well, fuck, you're right moments. And I wound up texting Mel, because she's been my bestie for 25 years, and she's one that if something needs to be said, she will give it to me straight. And yeah, she pretty much reiterated that what the hell happened to your promise to go see a therapist. I was just like, wow, shit, I just I forgot what I actually said about it, but it was always it was something to the effect of how I just get overwhelmed when I think about it, and that kind of plays in with the whole thing with the housekeeping. I try to think about it, and I get overwhelmed, and that depletes my battery so quickly. So I'm like, well, I just it takes so much out of me to even start looking at this shit. And somewhere during that night, I actually did, because I was so I felt called out in a way. I know that wasn't her intention, but a part of me did feel kind of called out, kind of pushed to take action, which is good for me to do stuff. Although it does come at the cost of kind of wiping me out, as far as my mental battery. Not really mental battery, but just my ability to do things. I guess a more modern term would be like spoons. I've heard that term thrown around a lot, and just like considering doing stuff like this takes spoons away. So to finally do it, yeah, I needed to do this, but it did deplete a lot of those spoons. Anyway, I did reach out to my social worker, because she has a lot of information about stuff like that, and I explained to her in the message that I'm looking for someone who's local to my area, because where she's at, she's down in Rochester, Minnesota, which is several hours away for me to drive. I only drive down that far if I absolutely have to. So I was hoping that they would have something more local for me to look into. Anyway, she did get back to me the next morning and gave me a place I could check into and find a therapist. And I did specify that naturally being LGBTQ plus friendly is a must, given my circumstances. And the place that she referred me to does have several therapists that are that they specialize in that. So I was glad to see it. I just need to take the next step and get in touch with them and try to book something. And I'll figure out insurance later on, I guess, if they cover anything. I'm not sure. If they don't, well, I'll still be going. I've got to pay out of pocket, I'll still go. I would just rather not have to pay for it, all out of pocket. But yeah, I guess you just gotta realize sometimes that sometimes you try to be independent. You try to just tell the world that you're fine the way you are, that you don't need any extra help. But who am I kidding? I have let this place, just go straight to hell. I've got recycling everywhere. I've got takeout. I do somewhat keep up with the garbage at least. I mean, the thing gets filled up, I take it out, so at least I got that going for me. But dishes always piling up. I got the floor is getting neglected so badly. I've got piles of Amazon boxes that just keep arriving all the time, and yeah, that's another thing. I get um, what's the term I'm looking for here. I get discouraged by the recycling policies that we have around here. Like, it should be real easy. Just take the shit out, dump it in the container, call it good. But then you got the HOAs always bitching about things like the cardboard being too big, needs to be cut up, or we got conflicting statements on things like plastic, number 5 plastic. Does it go? Does it not go? Got a thing from the city saying it does. Got a thing from the county saying it doesn't. So which is it? Number 5 plastic. I mean, that's like my cat litter containers are all number 5 plastic. It's like, okay, do I throw those in the garbage or recycling? And the HOA gets really pissy if they find recyclables in with the garbage. Like, they are really they're very militant about about fining people for stupid little shit, and I can see it happening again. I mean, when I first moved here, for the first 2 or 3 quarters after I moved in here, they send these newsletters out every quarter, highlighting recent events or recent concerns, and they were constantly in every single letter. They're saying, we found recyclables in the dumpster. We're gonna fine you. We're gonna fine you. I mean, this is just a general announcement. I wasn't doing any of that, but just seeing that they were just so persistent on this, that put into me, kind of a fear of God moment. I'm like, okay, so if I fuck up and put something recyclable in the garbage, then what? Or if I put something in recycling that doesn't go, how's that going to get reflected? It's like a no-win situation here, and I don't know what to do. And that just stresses me out and causes me to be afraid to take anything out there. And it's been piling up in the storage area ever since then. I was like, okay, well, I can take this stuff out because I know for sure that these cans, these bottles, these milk jugs, things like this, okay, I can take these out. But what about these things here? These questionable recyclable numbers, and I get overwhelmed. So yeah, there's that. Good God, I went off on a tangent there. I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's I just came to to the realization that I do need some help. I've been trying to shoulder I've been trying to shoulder all this for so long, and it's not getting any easier. And I don't know, if people keep telling me the same thing over and over again, and I don't know why I'm so bothered by it, but people will tell me, that they will reiterate over and over again that, oh yeah, you're going through some massive changes, you're dealing with a lot, with the transition and everything. And honestly, am I? I mean, is it really that big of a deal? I mean, yeah, I dress a little differently now, and I've had some slight changes to my facial features, and my body shape is a little different now. But beyond that, am I really going through a lot? I just don't see it. Some days I wonder if I got through anything at all, because I look in the mirror, I don't see any difference between now and 4 years ago. And then the other days I look in the mirror, I'm like, okay, shit, yeah, there's massive difference. But on those other days, I'm just like, what am I going through? Really, what am I going through? I mean, aside from my hormone levels being different, what is different? What changes am I going through? At least that's how I perceive it so often. I know that there's more to it than that. And maybe it does have a lot to do with my voice. I don't know. But or maybe just my body shape. I don't know. I tend to just dismiss it because it just doesn't feel like it should be that big of a deal when it comes to what people think of me. Like inside, I'm still the same person that I was 15 years ago, 30 years ago. It's just on the outside, yeah, some things are changing in my body, but internally, I'm still the same person that I always was. So, am I really going through a lot? It doesn't really feel that way. Okay, and on that note, I am going to shut up and upload this, lest I could go into a much longer, larger tangent and really bore you. But yeah, I cut myself there. Anyway, I'm gonna go to work tonight, so I better get some sleep. And you, wonderful people, have yourselves a great day, and I will talk at you again sometime soon. Bye.